All right. Welcome to another episode of Sunday Sippin'. No, we've been gone for a while, but it's time that we get back into doing this. And today, my guest is Elias Flores. If you don't know who he is, he's a good friend of mine. He is a big tequila guy. He does have social media, so go over and you can find him at Tequila in Golf on both IG, TikTok, which is going to be banned pretty soon, but all socials. So welcome, Mr. Elias.
Thank you.
Um, so I know it's your first time here. Well, it's going to be everybody's first time here. So basically, what we're going to do is I'm going to ask you some questions and get to know you over a drink because I thought this would be perfect because I remember, we were golfing one time and you were like, we never really got into each other's history,
Okay.
I got brought up once, so I figured this would be perfect. I know I'm not going to get too personal just because, boundaries. But to lead this off, we are going to start with one of my least favorite high proofs. It's the Dos Angeles. I know how you feel about it. But as I pour this up, I don't even know this, but I figured I'd ask you, what's started this whole tequila journey for you?
I think it's just something that I've always done. Um, I think I really got really deep into it about like 5 years ago, maybe a little bit longer than that. But yeah, I just started, you know, went away from beer, kind of got tired of beer in a sense, didn't like that anymore. Ventured a little bit into the whiskey area. That's kind of how we met a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
But then I just kind of found my niche in tequila.
Okay. You say 5 years ago. That's when you really got into it. Was there like a certain bottle or anything that got you like really jump started into it, or was it a certain experience? Because I know for everybody it's different.
Um, I, I don't think there's a specific bottle. I think it was just more of like I didn't feel bloated anymore. I didn't feel all that from the beer stuff. So it kind of like I was like, you know what, I could do this. This is a lot. You know, I don't know. It just seemed a lot. Don't want to say healthier, but it was just if I felt better after. So yeah, that was kind of it. After that, I just um started with blancos, and that was just I kind of been there almost the entire time.
It's funny because I remember when we first started. Well, when I first started drinking tequila with you, you're like, "Oh man, I hate blancos. I hate blancos. They're just not for me." And then a few months down the road, we were both like, "You know what? Blancos are basically are the way to go." Um,
I think what happened there was we were drinking whiskey, and it's a pretty easy transition from whiskey to like even the reposado and of course an añejo and extra añejo. So it's an easy transition when you do that. But when you go blanco, it's just that's a whole completely raw
different type of
sort of a
flavor.
spirit. So it's like there is not much that you compare with the whiskey world, which was what we're also drinking at the time.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know if I've ever told you, but I saw a video somewhere where it basically says that you're either, when it comes to tequila, let me know if you agree with this, but you're either a Blanco and Anejo person, or you mainly like reposados. And for the majority of people, that's usually what it is. I'm not saying people like you who like to try different things, but like for the general, population.
I don't think I've ever met anybody that said reposado is their favorite. I think it goes the other way. I think either people are either blancos or they're añejos.
So repo's just
Repo seems kind of to be like I don't want to disrespect it, but it just seems kind of like the middle ground. Like, but I do judge a lot of brands by their repo.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you're kind of like me in the whiskey world where I judge basically off. I wouldn't necessarily say the base one, but because you can't judge Jack Daniels off the Tennessee number 10. You just can't, because Jack Daniels, everything else is fucking great. But like for me, like the Redwood Empire, Lost Monarch, I judged off of that. The 1792 small batch, I'll judge off of that. But for the most part, the brand's $20-$30 bottle, and I'm like, if I don't like that, then I can't see myself liking other things, because most whiskeys have a signature taste, just like most tequilas have like a signature taste,
Yeah.
where it's like, oh, that's the Fortaleza taste, or this is the Los Angeles taste, which I can taste the same thing in almost every single one of their bottles, but which is sweetness.
Yeah, this is to me is very sweet. I got a chance to try this before it got released, and it was just I don't know. I don't remember it being this sweet at the end of it. But I do like the beginning of it. Like I know we disagree on it a little bit,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but I see what you say. I don't know. I don't know now that you tried it again, like that sweetness at the end.
Yeah.
Like it's very I didn't even it's just to me it's just sweet. Just sweet cooked agave at the end. And for a high proof you kinda there's some that you like that way, but it's yeah. I see why you started with this one.
Yeah. I mean, for me, when it comes to high proof, I like that earthiness to it.
But it has that in the beginning. It has that earthiness. It has all that characteristic. It's just that end result is just like it dulls down too much, and you get nothing but you know.
Yeah. Also, for anybody watching, listening, do not judge me based off my tasting profiles. Still very new into tequilas. He's more experienced, so might not agree with some things I have to say if we do talk about these bottles. Um, but like I said, last time I tried this, I told him that it kind of tasted like an herbal medicine sort of thing. Whether or not you agree with it, if you've had it, or but I would definitely say, if you haven't tried it, definitely go out and try it. With the same with any of these bottles. But you know, that's just the name of tequila or the name of spirits. You try something, you like it, you try other things you don't,
Yeah,
you know. But anyways, speaking of things we like
that everybody likes.
and dislike, I want to we've talked about this before, but I want to dive a little bit deeper into it. What are some things that, oh, by the way, sorry, very unprofessional. The next bottle we're going to try is Fortaleza Still Strength. Um, I was actually gifted this bottle by him, so thank you, Mr. Elias, to begin with. But going back to things we like and dislike, when it comes to the tequila community,
Okay.
what are some things that you like the most and dislike the most? And if you want, I'll give my opinions as well.
Um. So I'll start with what I like.
Mm-hmm.
What I do like is the community. It's just everywhere they have their bad apples, this and that per se.
Yep.
But I've noticed it in the community, in the tequila community, that you don't come across that many people like that. Um, and I've made a lot of friends in the way, drinking tequila, going to tequila, and going events and this and that. I made a lot of friends. Got to meet a lot of industry people. We're both in the industry in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I also had the chance to meet so many people in the industry, and that's like I don't know. Haven't I didn't get to experience that in the whiskey world, and it doesn't seem like if it's that close niche. Um, but it could also be a cultural thing. The fact that I'm Hispanic, when I go to tequila, I'm speaking with them in Spanish and
Mm-hmm.
this and that, and my family's from Guadalajara, and it's just kind of like I don't know. It feels like home. So maybe I'm not the best example when it comes to that. That I enjoy all these people that I get to meet. Yeah. Oh, what do you like about it?
I mean, okay, let me just backtrack. I wouldn't say that you never disregard that. Like, okay, that might not, I might not be the best example. I mean, everybody. That's the one thing I like about the spirit world. Everybody has their own experience, and what makes you like that experience, that's cool. That's for you,
Mm-hmm.
And for me, that's what I like about this because we get to share our stories and stuff like that. What I like about the tequila world, I mean, I maybe fully dived into it, maybe a few months ago, not too long
I
ago.
think that's when you actually decided, not decided, that's kind of when you like knew that's where you were gonna go. You were
Yeah,
big
because
whiskey, and it was just
I mean, you,
tequila just kind of took over about a
yeah,
couple months ago.
yeah. I mean, you brought me into a fantastic tequila group. You know, for me at first, I will admit it was a little off-putting, just because I didn't know anybody. I've never met anybody.
Hey, I didn't know anybody there.
Yeah.
I met them for the first time last year. A couple of them here in California, got to meet a couple of them,
Hmm.
and some of them flew in and stuff like that. But yeah, it was that whole social media thing that I've never experienced that. Like I know you do gaming and stuff like that. I've never done something like that. So to actually have like social media friends, that was weird to me. Like
Oh,
when I
okay,
got
okay,
invited
okay.
to this group, I'm like, yeah, I accepted, cool. I haven't had any bad, you know, runs with people that like, I don't know, try to take, I guess maybe take advantage or whatever. But,
Yeah,
with this group, cool people, down to earth, like to talk shit. Like,
yeah,
don't get offended when people talk shit, and it's all good. It's all fun and games. And
yeah.
yeah, we actually, I don't know, I see the benefit of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I mean, there is, but I mean, the gaming and this is completely different. Like
I
a
just
lot,
mean more like the community,
yeah.
like having that community, like because my brother was a gamer,
Hmm.
and like he had like in the Xbox, he had all his friends on there, and they'll talk to each other, and they'll and like my daughter does gaming, and she has like Discord and all this and that, where they kind of communicate, and then they go do something. Yeah, I think I'm a little
No,
too old for that era. Even
never,
though we're about the same
you're
age.
never too old for that era.
Well, no, not
Trust me, you're
never
never
too
too old.
old, but I'm kind of too old where I didn't come up with that
Hmm.
in a sense. So it was like, yeah. So like this whole online thing was new to me. You know,
Yeah.
like I only started social media just because I'm like, you know what, I like tequila and I like golfing. Most of the time I go golfing, I take a bottle of tequila. I'm like, yeah, let me make some content out of this. No one's
Yeah.
doing it.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
there's nobody doing this. It's I also did kind of going to back to your question, like what you were saying, what you dislike about the community. I kind of saw like everybody talking about the tequila and the tequila world. You know, they were not, which there's nothing wrong with it, but I
Hmm.
saw it as I'm like, there were, I'll just say they were white. They were,
We're
and they
not
were
racist.
no, none at all. But it was like, but they were out there doing, like they were out there showing and talking about the right stuff. Most of them.
Hmm.
And I had no issue with that. But I'm like, hey, you know, and it's because it's the same thing in the golf community. Like there is that, white's a privileged sport or blah blah blah. You got to have money to be doing that. So it was kind of like the two things that I enjoyed doing was kind of ran by, the face of it was white people. And I was
No.
just like, no, I'm like, I'll have fun with it. It's not serious. It's still not serious, and it's just like, let's go out there, play around the golf, talk to some people, play some music, drink some good tequila, and
Yeah.
just enjoy yourselves. So
Okay.
that's how I got into that. But, you know, in a
Mm.
sense, that's really the only thing I kind of disliked about the community. It was not a bad representation out there, but it was a lack of like a
Hispanics. Yeah.
Hispanic community representation out there.
Of course.
And yeah, that's why I started this.
Okay. I mean that makes sense. I mean, obviously there needs to be more people repping the culture. Obviously,
Yeah.
I do agree to a sense. Um, obviously, me. I For me, the community. I think I gotta just stay off social media for the most part because when it comes to the tequila group and when it comes to my first actual bottle share, that was cool, man. That was one of the most amazing nights. Everybody was just so friendly. Nobody really cared like really what you brought, how expensive the bottle you brought. Everybody's just like, oh, you got to come over and try stuff. We'll come over. Let's go eat. Getting along with me, getting along with my wife. And that's what really turned everything around for me. But when it comes to like the dislike, I think for me, just because I seen everything on social media first, um, has to be a lot of the judgment.
What do you mean the judgment? Like in the brands, in the
Not in the
people,
brands,
in
but
the
like obviously, and if this offends people, whatever, I don't care. Um, the judgment, as in, there's a lot of bottle reviewers or tequila influencers, whatever you want to call them. They're like slamming people for what their drink choices, like saying just because it has additives, it's not real tequila, but whatever, all this other BS. And another thing I don't like is like these same people who are judging, and I brought this up yesterday actually, that are judging people for their drinks of choice when it comes to tequila, saying, don't drink this shit, drink that, are the same people who are not putting in the effort to learn the proper names.
yeah, that is that's kind of like the bad that was with the community. It was like, they'll go up there and they'll be like, I don't know, most of these have pretty simple names,
No, honestly, because
like
this one says Allegado, right?
it says El Legado.
Yeah. So
It's El Legado,
I would,
but
I swear to God, could find a video where it says somebody says alligator. I saw literally yesterday somebody say Fortaleza.
yeah,
I saw Siempre. Uh, what's that? What's that other one that the Siete Leguas? That was butchered.
yeah. It's funny,
Anything?
we had that that was a conversation we had in the group chat yesterday. Like people were saying like, I don't know, even Atanasio was like butchered.
I hear Atanasio.
Yeah, Atanasio. Yeah, it's
So for me, it's not like the biggest dislikes, but I've honestly, that's rubbed me the wrong way in every community.
okay.
When it came to the beer community, the whiskey community, which for me, honestly, I don't see too much of. Um, I joke around when people tell me like, oh, when I tell them I like whiskey, and they're like, oh, I do too, and I ask them like, oh, what do you drink? And they tell me like, oh, Jack Daniels or oh, Woodford. I'm like, oh,
Hey,
so you like?
Woodford's not bad.
I'm like, oh, so you like shit? But I'm just
Yeah.
joking. I would never bash somebody for what they drink. Or when people tell me they like Screwball, like I'm like,
Okay.
okay, you like Screwball, that's a flavored whiskey, whatever. But at least you're getting into something.
Yeah.
But you know,
You know,
so I've never
I
really
can't do Fireball.
I've
So
never I've never experienced it with whiskey. I did with craft beer. You know, being an IPA drinker, it happened at work. I told somebody I was drinking like fucking Michelob's for the week, and they're like, "Oh, that's not fucking real beer." Like I know it's water, but beer is beer. Like for me, tequila's tequila, or whiskey's whiskey, regardless of what you want to say. There's no reason to fucking judge people off of it, and
yeah,
that's what I hate the most.
yeah. Like the running joke we got is like, oh, Hornitos chilled, like we all joke about that, like, oh, we have Hornitos chilled. It's like Jaeger. Everybody has a Jaeger bottle in the freezer.
That's
Like,
me. That's
hey,
me, 100%. Do you?
no,
Really, you
no,
don't?
no,
Oh man,
no.
you never know.
I need to have like
You never know.
I need a second fridge in the garage so that I could have stuff like that.
Mm.
But no, I don't think I think I might have tried Jaeger like once or twice, but I was never. I'm telling you, there's a generation gap that was
Oh yeah,
pretty significant. Like
yeah, no, yeah, because
yeah,
for me it was high school parties. I actually drank a 750 to myself, and
of
half,
Jaeger.
yes,
Oh
and then
shit.
half of another 750. Let's just say I ended up in the dirt.
Yeah. Yeah, no. See, our drink of choice was, we didn't have a lot of money, so it was we would drink Jack and Coke
Mhm.
when we had the money, and when we didn't have the money, we'll have E and J and Coke. We'll get that
Aren't they
big
about the
one
same
seven
price?
five. No, because you would be able to get the 175 E&J for like $10, and the Jack Daniel's 750 for $10. If it was a lot of
Uh,
us, we'll just get the E&J, get the big 175 E&J, and just with Coke. And that was, our high school drinks. You know,
we're not that we're not that far in age, but wow, like, well, to be fair, from 18 to early 20s, mid 20s, it was craft beer for me. I didn't do liquor at all.
yeah.
Like so I
And
guess
for
I
me,
wouldn't
it,
know.
it was. I was never a fan of beer. Never a big fan of beer. Like, here I try stuff here and there.
Hmm.
Um, but it was just I was never a huge fan of beer. I don't get me wrong, I would like, and some people bash on them, but I would like the when the summer beers will come out, like the lemon shasty. What are they
The lemon
called?
shandy,
Lemon
line and kugels.
shandies.
Yeah, those are good.
Like
Those are
stuff
good.
like that. Like, hey, that shit was pretty good. And then now, like when I do drink a beer, it's like, I like
Just don't tell me
the
White Claw.
Estrella. I like the Estrella Michelada they have.
Those are good.
The Modelo. Not gonna knock it. Bud Light Michelada is actually good.
Okay,
But see,
so
that's the only beers I drink. Like they're like, but for me, oh, actually no. So there is one beer I like, Barrilitos. You get them only in Mexico. They're like little. They look like kind of like what are the ones they used to call like grenades? The green ones,
mm,
the Mickeys. You know how
okay,
the
yeah,
Mickeys? They
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
look like the Mickeys because they're little. And dude, you go to Mexico and you get a 6 pack for like 60 pesos under freaking like it's stupid. It's stupid. It's cheap. But
So
yeah,
regardless, when it comes to beer, you even lean towards the Hispanic side of beer.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, so
yeah. See, I never really ventured into like other beers.
trust me, you don't want to. I mean, this is an
It,
expensive habit as it is. Uh,
I don't even want to venture into mezcal. I like mezcal, but it's like no. I'm like, dude, it's already getting too. Like, it gets pricey. Like this,
yeah.
like especially now. Like maybe that's another dislike I have in the industry right now. It's like there is so many bottles being released.
Yeah.
I think that only happened this year. I think last year there was very minimal.
Hmm.
Everybody came out with their regular, their blancos every year. So they'll come out with their regular line and maybe one specialty bottle.
Yeah.
But now it seems like they come out with their regular line 2 to 3 times a year, and then like 2 to 3 specialty bottles.
Well,
Which, don't get me wrong, is I don't see much wrong with it, but it's just like man, you can't keep up.
hmm
You know, like I don't know, I can't keep up. I know that.
yeah, I know it's hard. It's hard because I mean, obviously, we're in that group chat together, and you always see people like, "Oh, this is getting released. This is getting released. This is getting released." I'm
Yeah,
like, "Fuck, dude! Like, I'm gonna have to
yeah,
take a loan out just to fucking
yeah.
buy all these
Shit,
bottles and shit."
Montagave Añejo came out today.
Oh,
It was like their
oh.
second bear. I don't know. I glanced at it. I like there was a big like time clock to the countdown that they had and everything like
Hmm.
that. I didn't even look at it. And I'm
Yeah,
a fan of Montagave.
yeah,
I'm a fan,
yeah.
but it was
No,
just like nah, I'm like no, I'm not like but then okay, we keep on talking and things keep on coming up.
no.
Um
But okay, we'll leave it at there. I
no, no,
mean,
no. The other thing is secondary.
yeah,
I'm not a big fan of secondary.
secondary is not as bad in the tequila world as it is in the whiskey world.
It's not, but and it'll never get there. But it's
Honestly, I think it will.
I don't think so. The fact that because in the whiskey world they've just had the handle in the industry for so long.
Hmm.
Tequila's not built the same way. It's very family owned. It's very and I don't know the whiskey world as much. So maybe you could kind of like bring a little insight to that. But in the like I could in these bottles right here,
Hmm.
like Fortaleza, their nephews are in El Tequileño.
Okay.
You know, Siempre, that's with Sergio Cruz and the Vivancos, like
Hmm.
all them and G4, which Volans comes out of,
Hmm.
like that's all family. Cascawin, that's in pretty much in the same area as Antanasio,
Hmm.
but it's just like everybody's family and everybody there kind of like they all right now they all want each other to succeed.
Okay.
Which I don't know in the whiskey industry if it's the same way. If it's I don't know if it's more competitive or not, but here it's all family. They're like family, cousins, second cousins, and it's just like they all want to see each other succeed. And then, you know,
So
yeah.
before we get into that, what we did just pour is the Volan Still Strength. A little insider. This for me will always be known as the Gary Killer.
Okay, why?
Um, the first day I bought this,
Mm-hmm.
you know Gary,
Mm-hmm.
cool guy,
Yeah. No, I was.
fantastic dude. But he first day I bought this, he came over, we cracked this open, and he loved it, you know. And then I'm not sure if it's the first time or the second time, but I want to say it's the first time. He would come over, we would try like 5, 6 different bottles because he lived in Vegas, so every time he would come over, we'd have a plethora of things to try. He went back to this a second time, and then he went back to this a third time.
Damn.
And at that third time, he was like, "Oh, I got to try this again. I need to try this again. I didn't have it again." And we're like, "Dude, you just literally just had it like 2 pours ago." He's like, "No, no, no, no. You guys are bullshitting me." And that happened like 2 to 3 times.
Okay.
And next thing I know, it's the only time I've seen this guy stumble down my steps.
It got to him. Hey, it's
So
good though.
I know it's good. It's like one
It's
of my
good.
favorite high proofs on this recently. You know, took it over, but this thing is fantastic. But back to what you said, so I think it's a little bit more difficult. Obviously, whiskey I feel like is more competitive,
Okay.
just because there's a broader market for it. So you can make bourbons in California, you can make bourbons in Colorado, Louisiana, because all you have to do is follow certain things.
Okay.
It's not um, location based like
tequila.
tequilas are.
Yeah.
You can only call it tequila if it's made.
In five, I think 5 regions. I
Yeah.
could be wrong, but yeah, I think it's 5 regions. Yeah.
So, you know, and this is just saying whiskeys. We're not talking bourbons. We're not talking rye, Canadian, Japanese, Scotch, all this other stuff and everything in between. There's such a broader market for it that obviously, for me, I want to see everybody win. I want to see everybody succeed. And those are the people that you want to surround yourself with. But just like tequila, there's so many brands that come up and die. It's the same thing in the whiskey world,
Okay.
you know, like, and this is why we're hosting this states one. We're trying basically bringing bottles that people never heard of that maybe can help. But like we could take this to somebody else, and they might want to try to order a bottle, try to help them grow, stuff like that. But I mean, the tequila and whiskey world, I don't see having too much in common, you know.
No.
But speaking of things in common, the reason why I wanted to do this with you is because me and you have a lot in common. You know, the thing I would say we most have in common is we're both kind of dicks. We both have that attitude of like, I don't give a fuck what you think about me. And it rubs a lot of people the wrong way.
I can see that.
And it makes a lot of people not like us. And it's been that way for me since I was small. But the thing that we don't have in common, I do not have your charisma. And I think you know where I'm going with this, but
I don't, but okay.
It's your charisma in the tequila world, And when it comes to going to liquor stores or going to tequila events and stuff like that, I've seen you talk to reps, liquor store owners, people behind the counter, and it's like a thing of magic. And I tell everybody, like people at work, friends, my wife, whatever. I'm like, dude, if you see this fucking guy work out there in the fucking tequila world, it's a thing of beauty. I've never seen you get so many people on your side when it comes to the tequila world. Now, is that like, does that come natural? Does that something you work on, or like, what is it?
I think it's just natural. It honestly is just natural. I don't know. It's just it's yeah. That's this. I finished it already. I'm gonna do Gary and get another take. You know. Um, yeah. It's natural. It really is. Like in my family, we grew up drinking, beer and this and that.
Hmm.
But at events, we always had tequila too. And I've always I started my deep dive a couple years ago, but like it was always something that really, you know, I really enjoyed. And I don't know, it's just it got to the point where and it has to be the industry of it. Like, you know, yes, we work in the industry. That is our job. Like I tell everybody, yeah, my day job is working at blah blah blah, right?
Hmm.
you know and but it's like in the tequila world, it's the fact that we do work in the industry and we work for a big company in the industry. um it has opened doors, but then at the end of the day, it's like, I don't know, the community behind it is just
Yeah,
they're
but
welcoming. Like everybody welcomes it. And maybe that's more based like in Mexico. That's more, but here in the States,
no,
it's
I think that's just you, honestly, because
another pour.
a lot of people we work with, they're not influenced like me and you are. Okay. Uh, fuck. Like I've tried. Like I've got, I have more success in the
Yeah.
whiskey world. If
This
you want to
bottle might
kill
be
it, go ahead
gone
and
by the
kill
end
it.
of the
Don't worry
day.
about that.
No, we got other ones to
Uh,
drink.
I've had a lot more success in the whiskey world, talking with liquor store owners, sharing fantastic stories and shit like that, which I know you haven't seen from me because we don't
Mm-hmm.
really go whiskey shopping together. But, when it comes to, you know, not the most recent, but like when we did do tequila event together, and I seen you talking to the reps of like the first time we found out about Los Angeles,
Yeah.
Tequila, whatever. It's so easy for you to get their contact information. I know you. I know you have
Okay.
contact information from master distillers. I'm not gonna put
Yeah.
the names out there for certain reasons, but like it's so easy for you,
Um,
and it's so hard to like. No, I'm not like want to piggyback off of you because obviously like we're friends and shit like that. So you've always brought me along. But like if I didn't know you and I was a leech, you know how easy it would be just like I'm gonna use that motherfucker just because like you and I know too like if you really wanted to you can get free bottles and I know you're not that person where you don't ask for
no.
free bottles, which I respect the most about you. I do respect that about you a lot. You don't ask for free bottles.
Yeah.
And I do know a lot of people that do ask for free bottles and DMs on Instagram and shit like that. But if you wanted to, you could have like your whole house, like maybe your whole garage filled with tequila. Just because
Um,
reps and people like that are just drawn to you. Whether or not you realize it or not,
it
it happens.
so my wife's made that comment before. You're not the first one to do
Mm-hmm.
it. And she goes, and it's the reason why she's like, yeah, I don't want to go to events with you, because it's like, she goes, you disappear. Like you start talking with somebody, and next thing you know, you're like somewhere else, and you're trying like I said, I tried the Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
It was a Sabor, which I think it was like August or something like that. I don't remember. It was last year. Um, and I got to try that, behind the scenes before it came out. And she goes like, yeah, no, she goes,
No, you're good
oh
to keep
no,
talking.
no, like she says, open that door a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, she always says like, yeah, it's that's your comfort zone. Like you're there, and it's just like you're not necessarily like pushing and like leading the way, things like that, but you're there and you're talking with people, and they're like, no, come here, try this. Oh no, come here, try this. Have you met this person? Have you met that person?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just been like, like I said, I just been, I don't know if I would say lucky. I would always say it's lucky or blessed, whatever it is, whatever it could be. But it's just like, yeah, and it's just, I don't know. But I also do put the time into like actually talking to these people and getting to know their story. Like, like getting to like know what they're about, and in a sense, attempt to help in whichever way I can. You know, and it's just, I don't know. I just feel comfortable in it. And that's just ideally, I do see myself doing it in the near future, and it's just kind of like, I don't know. But I think it also has to be, the right situation in a sense.
Hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. I enjoy it. I like it. I think, I'm passionate about it. And I just think it just seems like the right fit to actually do that as a career if it's possible. So,
Do when you say do that, what do you mean?
see that's the hard, that's where
Are you trying to narrow it
that's
down?
yeah, that's kind of where I'm stuck, because I've been offered brands
Okay.
to like go rep a brand, go do samples, do this and that. Um, like you said, I have contacts, I have all this and that, and it's just like, I don't know. Ideally, I do not want to do one brand because I think that limits you, that kind of handcuffs you a little bit.
Mm.
Um, but then I kind of want to merge in a sense what we already do, which is distribution of alcohol,
Okay.
and in the tequila world, because to me, I see it very um like it's not represented well right now by some of these companies.
Okay. So correct me if I'm wrong, because this is something that it seems like I've wanted to do, not necessarily in the spirit world, but me, I've always wanted to get into marketing. Um, that's something that's always been a passion of mine.
Okay.
Uh,
Best marketing team out there
yeah,
in the tequila world right
you
now.
know, but like because I do my best, whatever interests me, I do my best to keep up on like what's new, what's hot, what's this, what's that, what's that.
Yeah.
You know, the best thing for me is like the best example I can give is like when White Claw first came out.
Okay.
Um, my brother had no idea what it is. He was an assistant manager, store manager. I'm not too sure what at the time, but I'm like, hey, have you heard of this? He's all, no. Dude, order that shit. It flies. He ordered a pallet. That shit was gone in the same day. You know, that stuff, that type of stuff interests me.
Okay.
Like whatever's new, whatever's hot, the ever changing market, whatever. But being able to market that and sell that and be like being able to say like, I guess it's a bit of an ego boost. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, just say, hey, I did that.
Okay.
Just like you, like not just like you, but forgive me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like you want to be able to represent tequila, not just this brand, but in a certain way and
Yeah.
get it out there. And that's without doing the whole, hey, I'm this person, and today I want to talk to you about this brand.
Yeah.
You know?
Let's hear the pop.
Yeah. You know, you want to be a more, I guess, professional way about doing
Yeah, I just think the market's there
it.
for
Hmm.
tequila.
Oh yeah.
It's been growing every so. They say it's not, but I think those numbers are skewed to like, in a sense, like more like the Jose Cuervos and stuff like that. Like those people maybe are not selling as much, but that's a big part of the industry. Like,
Hmm.
so if that's not selling, then the industry is taking a hit because those are like, like those are your big names out there.
But
So
I think like Jose Cuervo, yeah, like I think in order for this to grow, they got to take a hit. You
yeah,
know,
of course.
because I know. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of it. I don't know how you feel about it, but I know a lot of people who were drinking like Don Julio
Hmm.
are now leaning towards Lalo.
Yeah,
I know, and I'm proud for them. I see a lot of tequila ochos in the market, almost every store I go to now.
yeah,
Um, believe it or not, I see La Gritona at my grocery store.
It's funny. I've never tried that one before.
It's not my
No,
favorite.
I get it.
It's not my favorite. It's cool. You know, it's additive free. It has a cool story. All women don't. Power to them. Is it my favorite tasting tequila? No.
Yeah.
But, you know, I have Mi Genta in my local grocery store. And I'm talking chain.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking Total Wine. I'm not talking a local liquor store. I'm talking chain. You know,
Yeah.
they got Mi Genta and they got all these additive free brands. So obviously, I think if these things are growing, the Jose Cuervo, Gran Centenario, all that stuff, they're gonna have to take a hit.
Yeah.
And obviously, if the biggest sellers take a hit, they're gonna think the market's
yeah, and that's exactly what I was saying. Like it's gonna show that, you know, and yeah, maybe they can run the numbers, and yeah, they're losing money, so they think the industry's down. But I don't know. I think it's still coming up. I think we have a lot of great master distillers out there that are now got to the point where they're willing to take chances, which I think, even though I said it's one of the things I don't really like about the industry, that everything's a specialty and everything like that.
yeah.
That now it's going to be even more specialty stuff. But like this, it's a specialty item.
Yeah.
It's a specialty item. You know, it's, you know, I I try to do a little research on it. I'm not a big, like, you know, I'd rather take the story.
Yeah.
If someone's telling me the story and taking the time to tell me the story of this, it's like,
You're gonna
okay,
listen.
I'm gonna take their story for what they're saying. I'm not gonna go try to fact check it and be like, no, you guys are not the first ones to do it. Which, like I said, I don't even know if there is the first ones or not. But it's like, this is a specialty item, and it's like a different process.
Okay.
But it's just like,
okay, for those, I'm gonna cut you off real quick. For those who don't know, this is fairly new bottle. It came out what, a month ago, 2 months ago?
That thing's been sitting in the warehouse for
not that
2
long.
months.
Not that long.
No, you don't know the story.
It's siempre tequila exclusivo muerto. I know I'm not a Spanish speaker. I'm trying. If I butcher the name, I apologize. I don't know much about the story. Maybe you can, before we get into this next question.
So the story behind this, and like I said, I took their story, just the way they told it, and it'll be a brief summary of it. Essentially, what they did is they let the yeast die during the process, and the only reason why Sergio Cruz allowed that to happen was because their, I don't know, it was their, whatever system they used to pump whatever's already ferment, like from the fermentation tanks, that broke or something. Like there was some malfunction in the distilleria, where, you know, they were not able to pump the product that was already fermented. And you know, Alex, the owner of Siempre, always wanted to do this because he has a vivo. There's a Siempre Vivo and there's a Muerte. Okay. And he wanted a Muerte, but I think they had to leave it, like, I want to say it was like 28, 30 days in the tank until like the yeast completely died. And, you know, and it was just the fact that something broke, and they were already at the end of the regular, you know, time they were supposed to pull it out, whatever days that was. And it was just like, well, they told them the piece is not going to get here till a couple, say 5 days, 6 days. So then they're like, okay, well, now we wait one more week. Like we could do the muerto we've been trying to do. And then they kind of just finally agreed on it because they were already so close. So that's how this came out. And if I butcher that story, Alex, I'm sorry. We were drinking. You told me that story. Yeah. And that's what I remember.
So this obviously, you know, we both love this shit.
This is,
I can't believe you actually opened your bottle for me. You know, I appreciate that. You know, but this is another thing that we bring back to our earlier question: why I love about the community. Well, basically, you know, why I love hanging out with you. You know, if there's something that you're not afraid to open, whatever bottle it is, to try it. You know, I'm not a big fan of those people who hold on to bottles and don't drink them. But yeah, if you haven't been able to tell by now, obviously, this is going from my least favorite to my most favorite. Um,
You know, you say that, and I drank this, and it gave me the same kind of like profile as that.
really,
Yeah.
really.
Like I think
So
at the end we'll have to like do a side by side,
okay,
and yeah, but we'll do that at the end.
okay. For me, this is way more flavorful. I'm sorry. This is
It
like
is.
it's like
It is.
punches you in the mouth and stuff like that. But if this has a
But it
more
has the same finish as that.
okay, it's the same finish.
So,
Okay,
but we'll go back. Like I said, that's I kind of that when I got that second drink, I'm like, huh, the more it sits, the more everything. It's like I see that,
okay.
and
Actually, now
yeah,
that you know that you want to do your comparisons, shoot me for this comparison
okay,
if you want. This tastes a lot like that Lost Lore high proof, not the still strain, but the high proof Blanco that first got released when,
that 50% one.
yeah, that got released when the barrel rested and all that shit got released. It has that earthiness to it that this one has.
Yeah.
And for me, if I were to blind them, to be honest, I wouldn't know which one is
Mm.
which.
Well, I think in the blind, you're not supposed to know the brands. I think
No,
you're
no, no,
just
you're not
going,
supposed to.
yeah,
Yeah,
like it just goes more. And
I do like blinds though. Blinds like,
I like it to a point. I don't like, I like it to the point where kind of like you take the name away from it
mhm.
and, you know, you kind of like go into the product trying it and you're like trying to figure out like what it is, right? So but since you don't see the label on it, you're trying to like you're more, I don't know.
So if you're for me, like for blinds, if you're focusing on what the label is, you're doing it wrong.
Mhm.
You're doing it wrong.
I think a lot of people do that. Like they
But
just
yeah,
think just because it's
this and that,
Fortaleza,
it's the greatest
just
thing ever.
it's yeah, and it's good, but then it's like you could essentially like as we go, these two we haven't tried, but we easily said these two taste better than that. And then we have, you saying the Lost Lords High Proof was better.
Well, it tastes
Um,
similar to this. I
Similar,
It tastes similar to it. I wouldn't say necessarily better.
just
But that's something that I would want to blind, just
okay.
because I know they taste similar. I want to see which one I would enjoy a little bit more.
Okay.
And for me, I would go simply into tasting. I wouldn't be trying to guess like, oh, if is this Fortaleza? Just because for me they are similar.
Yeah. No, yeah,
You
okay.
know, um, that's what I mean. That's why I like blinds. But anyways, we veered off from the question that I wanted to ask you. So let's bring it back. So recently, I know we've talked about this, but I really didn't ask you the questions I wanted to. But recently, you've had the opportunity to go to Tequila in Mexico. You know, I know you extended the invite, but due to
Yes.
personal reasons, I was unable to go.
You were having a baby. You couldn't go. We get
Yeah, no, 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 no. You didn't have to put that out there, but yeah,
it.
I was having a baby.
Yeah. It's
So
understandable.
no, yeah, but as somebody who's enjoys tequila, or maybe the person who loves doing bottle reviews and stuff like that, like how important if you for like your average tequila lover, whether you're additive free or additive, how important or not important, but how much would you say that somebody needs to at least visit there once and visit a distillery?
Mm.
Like, did it have a significant change on your outlook on tequila?
You know what? Yes. I think it kind of, so there's two parts of it that I think yes, completely.
Okay.
Like one actually, even though, you know, we're doing it for 5-10 minutes, in the group, a couple people are doing it, not everybody.
Hmm.
But like actually physically pulling agaves, or pulling whatever the baby agaves are called. I'm drawing a blank, whatever it is,
Hmm.
whatever they are. And like seeing, you know, the people that are behind it, like it's not necessarily like master distillers is another thing, but it's like the actual work that it goes into and like what these people get paid and the whole you know doing the field and taking care of the field and
Mm-hmm.
you know it's like these people's have so like there's the field workers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you respect you like actually being out there and seeing it, you respect that a lot more.
Okay.
But then it's also seeing like dude, these people are freaking rocket scientists. Like you have fucking people in there like freaking getting the sugars and doing this and that. It's like it's a complex sort of a process, just to know when to get the agave out, what agave you want, whether you want highlands, lowlands, depending on what you want. Like it's they're creating, like it's not just what the juice that comes out here, it's that whole process and being able to see that, seeing the fermentation and the different
Yeah.
processes, whether it's wood, like different things like that. Like it's kind of you get more of a appreciation for what it takes to get this tequila, out here, and then it goes to the master distillers. Like I've been privileged to be able to meet a couple of them,
Yep.
and like just
What you
picking
have
their
in your phone?
brain.
What you have in your phone?
Yeah, whatever.
Because Mr.
Yeah,
Charismatic over here.
yeah. But
But
like it's just like even like I remember at Sabor, I got a chance to meet Villalobos for Los Angeles.
mm-hmm.
And
Tequila event, El Sabor. That's what it
yeah,
is.
at the Tequila event, he had a panel. Like I went to the event and I went to two panels. I went to the glass one with
Okay.
Thomas, which completely changed my life.
These glasses are
Yeah,
fantastic.
that's that completely changed my life because I was a big who cares what you're drinking from, just drink it.
That
That's a whole other. We'll talk about that. I'm
that's
pretty sure.
yes, yes. That's one
And then
thing. Yes, thank
and then
God.
from there, you know, meeting this guy, and I went to his panel. I went to the beginning of the panel,
Mm-hmm.
but then I was like, the event was like 6 hours, and I was going to like, I think two panels. So that was like, I didn't even drink that much because I was like at all these panels, so I kind of missed a portion of it.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that he's like, I met him again downstairs at the tasting booth, and he freaking brings out his laptop and he runs through it real quick and everything like that. And it's just like stuff like that. It's like getting like them taking the time
Yeah,
to do stuff like that. Like that's amazing,
yeah.
and going to G4 and then they tell you like why this is so good, and then going to
So this is from G4.
that's G4, yeah.
Okay. So
So Pandillo.
I'm pissed now. So I don't know. I don't do a lot of research in the tequila world like I
Uh-huh.
do in the whiskey world. I mean, I know you asked me about a lot of whiskey, so obviously you can
Mhm.
understand. But now I'm really pissed
Why?
because if they would have told me why the fuck this tastes so good, now I'm like,
Yeah.
so for me, like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but and I'll continue to say that, but I think my whole outlook on tequila, regardless if I'm in the shit for a year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, but if I the first time I visit tequila, I think my whole outlook on the whole, you know,
The whole shebang.
shebang, would change.
Yeah.
Like, and it's not just this shit, but like the stuff that's just okay, the shit that everybody else drinks, and my whole outlook would change, like, and grow more of an appreciation.
Yeah. No, so like going back to your question, like yeah, like I believe everybody should go,
Mm.
and
Like on what from a scale of 1 to 10, is 10 being most important? Like if this is your thing, not the everyday person, but if this is your thing, if this is your niche.
if this is your niche, you have to go at least twice. One time you go to tequila
Mm-hmm.
and you do those I would even say almost 3 times, but at least twice. One, you go to Tequila and you visit the distilleries there, and then the
What's
second time you go to Arandas and you visit those there. So you go to the Highlands one time and the Lowlands the other.
is it just any distilleries or the ones of the brands you like? What would you say?
Yeah, of course, go visit the ones you like. Like
But
everybody wants to
squeeze in
go.
some for like
Yes, I'm big into. So we've done it a couple times, and we did like 2 distilleries, like a day, and that's rough. Like you're gonna have a rough time because, and it's not the drinking. It's not the drinking. It's the fact that you go visit Rene at the Nacio, and he's serving you all kinds of stuff, and you're just having a good old time and there, and then oh, you have another appointment somewhere else, and you're like, I don't want to go. I want to just hang out here. So
so
it's yeah. So it's kind of
okay.
more. It's more like I'm like I told everybody we were planning another trip, and I'm like, we just got to do one a day. Like
That's from what you've told me previously and from what you're telling me now. One a day kind of seems good because, especially if I'm going with you. If I'm going with you and then a couple other people from the group who are like very knowledgeable, um, you guys end up just talking to the people. Not that
yeah,
it's a bad thing.
yeah,
Not that it's a bad thing, but like you said, you get so deeply vested into the first one.
yeah.
You're torn between I don't want to go to the next one
Hmm.
and like I do want to go, but I'm so fucked up.
Yeah. No, so like I told you, we went to Antanasio,
Mm-hmm.
and then we were there. We were only supposed to go do like a breakfast thing there at their fields. It's an amazing
Yeah.
experience. If you get a chance to go do that. And but that's it. We didn't even have a tour like scheduled. It was just literally it was just going doing the breakfast. We were with El Tequileño at the time, and they
Love that
used their
brand.
fields. They use their fields because their fields they just essentially they source out. They don't have
Mm-hmm.
fields at the distillery.
Hmm.
Or they have
Wait,
fields.
who
Let me
doesn't have
correct that.
fields?
No, El Tequileno does have fields.
Okay.
It's just that they're not at the distillery. The distillery is in a certain spot, so they bring in the agave already. Like then they start the process there.
Okay.
So they used Andanasio, and all we had was a breakfast there. Like it was just we're just supposed to have a couple of like have a little breakfast, have a couple of drinks, and then just from there we're supposed to go back. And then we had a tour at Fortaleza booked like that afternoon.
Yeah.
So we're like, oh, perfect. We're gonna go have breakfast and everything. We ended up being with Rene and his team for like 6 hours.
Renee
We
is who? Just for
for Mantenacio, like Rene
oh,
from Mantenacio. He's the master distiller for
okay.
Mantenacio.
Asher just
And at the end of the day, our chauffeur had to take some other people that were gonna go to the bottling plant for El Tequileño. So
mm,
we didn't have a car. We were just stuck there. And he personally drove us to Fortaleza in his pickup truck.
that's cool.
All like 12 of us, people in the back, people in the front. Like it was just a whole experience. And yeah, like it was just like we didn't want to leave here because it was just such a good time that it was
Yeah.
just like we almost missed our Fortaleza tour.
That's
Yeah.
just for those who aren't quite following along. That's also one of the very valid reasons why you only do one a day.
Yeah. And ever since then, I've been like one a day because that entire trip we did so many distilleries. We did the Highlands and the Lowlands within the same week. So we were in Arandas
Yep.
for 2 days, and then we were in Tequila for like 3-4 days. The total of 6 days, a couple of rest days here and
Mm-hmm.
there. And every day we had two. But every single day, the second one we had, we were late.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Luckily, everybody was cool with it. It was the only one that kind of gave us a little hard time was Fortaleza because they're very strict on it.
Well, yeah,
But
Fortaleza is obviously,
yeah,
but
yeah, but yeah, that's why I'm a big one a day. But I think we got to go back to the whole question. Like, if this is your niche and you're talking about it and you're
Well, I think just from I don't even think you have to say it.
No, but I will.
I think just from that alone, people should be able to understand that they need to go.
Yeah, but I think it still has to be said. Like it's one thing to read an article about like going back to like the agaves,
It's a
the
good
pop.
pop.
That's a good pop. That's a good pop right there, man. That's a thumbnail.
That's a
That's a thumbnail right there.
that's an inside joke. We're not
Yeah,
gonna explain that, but
yeah, yeah. Like especially if you're out there doing reviews, especially if you're criticizing some of these brands, or whether it's a good review, whether you're in a panel, whether you're doing blinds.
oh, that smells good.
It's the fact that you still haven't experienced that. It takes away a lot from. It takes a lot of appreciation away from you know you're getting these stuff from essentially you're buying these stuff from your reps just because they're telling you your influencers, and it's just like if you haven't been there on the ground floor, it's just it takes away a lot. So I say, yeah, you have to go.
It smells strong.
I think this is 54, if I'm not mistaken.
And this is 54.5. All right. So
This is 54.5 as well.
all right. This smells like I'm gonna enjoy
El
it.
Legado.
Okay.
The glass seminar I had was by El Legado.
So right now, this is El Legado Still Strength. Obviously, this is something that I've never had before. I don't know about you.
I have.
Okay. So we started off from least to favorite, or least liked to most favorite. I do like this, but whatever. I've never had this before. So my first time with this is going to be with you. And for me, this is all about creating memories. Um, every time I have a first bottle with somebody, it's always a memory for me. And it's something that I always appreciate. I know that's something that you enjoy as well.
Yeah.
I haven't really done it too much in the tequila world where I create memories with people. For me, that's more in the whiskey world. So to lead into this question, and I'll answer this from my side as well, but top it doesn't have to be the number one, but what are one of the top memories you have from either tasting tequilas or sharing a bottle with somebody um, that you have that you will never forget?
Okay.
And if you have to think about this, I'll answer mine first.
Yeah. You answer yours first, and
Okay.
then they'll give me a little time because I have a couple that are running through my head. I just kind of want to see how personal this wants to get.
Okay. So if you haven't seen my old podcast, I talked about the first one that actually got me into whiskeys.
Okay.
But
I'm gonna take a wild guess, and it was Asian.
yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
No. Actually, what the whiskey that got me into that really kickstarted, or no, not even the whiskey that kickstarted. Well, I talked about it all. I talked about the first time I had a Manhattan and how that really opened up the
Okay.
world to me.
Now I'm kind of remembering everything.
And then I know you know these stories. And then the first time I've had Isla Scotches where I'm like, holy shit, this is great. The Octomore that I've had, I've shared that with you. And then you obviously, my love for Japanese whiskeys. But I'm just going to get a little bit more personal just so I open you up a bit because you're kind of closed. And I kind of want to open you up a bit. And for me, the thing is, for when it comes to memories, it's not necessarily the bottle, but it's the moment.
Yeah.
You know about the one that I've had with my brother from North Carolina. Yeah. That was a great bottle. You've had it. You enjoyed it. But for me, the greatest memory I'll always cherish is, shortly after my son died, rest in peace, Jacob. I'll always miss you. I sat outside on my patio. And it's since high school, it's one of the only times I've really let myself go. And I sat outside listening to music, smoking cigarettes, whatever. And I drank the whole bottle.
Damn.
not to sound like a drunk or anything like
Mhm.
that, but you know, you just sit there contemplating life or thinking about things of what's the most important to you and things like that. That oh, what really matters in life. And I did that by myself
Mhm.
with nobody. I usually love creating memories with people, but to sit out there, listen to like classic rock, and just drink a bottle and just kind of like let go. It was a moment where I like let go of all my demons,
Okay.
which is hard for me to do.
Yeah, it's hard for all of
So
us.
this is why it's like one of the most memorable things where because I was thinking about him and then I started thinking about everything about like my past life, my future life, my life as a parent, which I got 4 beautiful kids. But for me, that's probably the one that sticks to me the most. For the life of me, I can't remember which bottle it was. And for a lot of the memories, I can't remember which bottle it was unless it was like significantly recent, like this one or this one. But, if there's something that can get you to open up and let go,
Mhm.
and even if it's with yourself or if it's with somebody, it's a beautiful thing. And for me, like, not to say that it won't happen. Never had that with tequila.
Okay.
I've never had a beautiful moment with tequila. This is probably why I'm still considering myself a whiskey drinker until I have that beautiful moment. But for me, that's top memories of of like experiences of having a bottle, you know. And if you're not knowing the bottle bugs you, I'm sorry, but it doesn't bug me. I know it was a scotch, but it's the only time that I've ever felt like I've drank a full bottle and it didn't do shit to me, which says a lot.
Yeah.
But I remember vividly that I got rid of a lot of demons that day, and for that, I'm thankful.
Man, that's deep. So I kind of had this idea, kind of like come up in my head, like I don't want like social media. It's a great platform to like kind of figure some of these things out, get a
Mhm,
couple recommendations. But I kind of wanted to do something kind of like what you're talking about right now, and do. I'll never do a review. I'm not gonna do a review. That's
mhm.
not me. Um, but I did want to review my bottles, but then rank them based on my experience.
I still think you should do
Because
that. I know you talked about it.
and I did talk to you. I talked to a couple guys about it. I wanted to kind of do it in January, and I was just kind of like, I don't know. I
I'm
kind
ki
of been
I'm sad you didn't do
yeah.
it.
So it kind of goes to that, and because I know in there I have like I remember I helped out a friend and he gave me a bottle. I helped out a friend get some, get some product that he couldn't get, and
Mhm.
you know,
I
it
think I know what you're
yeah,
talking about. Yeah, yeah,
it was a bottle, and he was very thankful for me helping him get a couple things that he wasn't able to get, and next time I went in there, it was a grocery store, a liquor store. I mean, next time I went in there, he goes, "Oh, I got this for you. We just got it in. It's a great. Give it a shot." It's not this one actually. It was
No,
the one I was gonna pick.
Simple Vias Hoven.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
yes,
Everybody's
I remember.
Hoven.
I remember that
And
story. I like that story, and
yeah,
that is one of the most fantastic bottles ever.
and that's kind of like where I kind of wanted to do this kind of like
Mhm.
series in a sense. Kind of like ranking them not by brand, not by profile, by
Memory.
but it was more by like memory and kind of what you're saying, because getting personal, I have one like, so my family started noticing that I was getting into this,
Mhm.
and my family is from Guadalajara. We celebrated my grandfather's birthday right before he passed, and
Rest in peace.
Yeah, right
You
before he
know.
passed. And what my aunts and uncles did was that they bought like a case, maybe two, three cases, who knows. We went through a lot of it that day. It was his favorite tequila because he's originally from Arandas. Um, and he they went down there and they bought a bottle of like his favorite stuff that he would always seek out, and that's what we had for his birthday party. I want to say it was his 70th birthday party,
Hmm.
70th or 80th. I'm trying to blank right now. Um, and the next time I went, we went for some family thing. We went, and my aunts actually were like, we found you a bottle, and they gave it to me.
Hmm.
Like, this is what you're getting some tequila. This is what your grandpa liked. Like, we want you to have something your grandpa used to
Hmm.
like. And yeah, there's a lot of bottles that I have. They have that story with it.
Okay.
Whether it's my grandpa, whether it's helping out a friend, he gave me a bottle. Whether it's I can't even think about any other ones. Whether it's we got a couple. We got a couple barrel picks. We've been blessed enough to do barrel picks. So,
Hmm.
I have my first barrel pick. You know,
You know what? That's actually a memory that we have together. You
yeah,
know, you
that's
invited,
true.
yeah, yeah,
That's
you
true.
invited me to.
You were part of the process of the very first barrel pick we did.
Well, not even that. That was my very first barrel pick as well,
Yeah,
and the only reason that happened was because of you.
yeah. Like that's special.
Yeah.
Like the fact that you're able to have go through a process and do a barrel pick, like that's something special. And it's just kind of like you know, I know that's kind of like not a one personal answer like question that you were asking, but it was like or answer, but it's like you know the memories will come. You say you haven't had as many in tequila, but they'll come. They'll
Yeah.
come.
I mean, I mean, it's regardless. Memories are cool. Bottles of memories are cool.
Definitely.
You know, and like you said, like if you remember what the brand is, cool. But if not, all that really matters is the memory. Um, but for the most part, I mean, I do have a couple of tequila memories.
Mm.
Not to say that I don't, but have they hit that top mark for me yet?
Yeah,
Not
that's
like it. It doesn't. It for me. It doesn't scratch that surface.
yeah, that's
Just because it's not. I wouldn't say it's just because I've tried more many whiskeys than I have tequilas. It's just for me. It's just and this is something that I think I have to get over. But for me, I feel like whiskey is just more of a personal connection with somebody than it is tequila.
okay.
You know, uh, and I think that's why we host these whiskey events instead of these tequila instead of tequila events because for me it's much more personal for me.
Okay.
And I know the one that we're having you kind of questioned.
I did.
You did, like, hey, are you sure? Da 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 da. And for me, like, the quality of the bottles never mattered. When it comes to
Yeah.
whiskey, the quality of the bottles never mattered. It's just the fact that we're here doing this and it's a group of like what 13, 15 guys who were complete strangers before this
Yeah.
and now we're all doing this together. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
For me that's a beautiful thing. Yeah, sure, we're not all the closest, but the fact that we can all come together like this and share a pour with each other, that's a
Share
beautiful
pork, share some food.
and bullshit
Just
together. That's a beautiful thing. And for the first time, I experienced that at the bottle share.
okay.
That's a memory. Is it top five for me? No. But like, are these whiskey events top five for me? Maybe the first one, just because it's the first time I got to get to know you guys
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But you know, until something significant happens with this, like I don't think it'll crack the top 5 for me. You know, or maybe this might crack the top 5 for me. Who knows?
Hey, this could
But
be the beginning of something.
I mean, we've been at this together for months now, so who knows?
Yeah, no, but this has been a very like even myself, like you said, like I have not pushed tequila as much as I should have. I, in a sense, as much as I maybe person should do, But it's just like I don't know. It was always a passion. It was always something I enjoyed. I'm not doing this to freaking in a sense get rich like some people want to do and this and that.
That's a very hard thing
Yes,
to do.
yes, I want to be in the industry, but
Mm-hmm.
then I'm already in the industry, so it's like if I'm moving lateral in the industry, I've been doing this so many years.
Yeah.
I've been in the food and beverage industry for so many years. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's just more kind of like I think I got into the point where I pinpointed what I want to do, and it is tequila.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like I don't know. I Everybody keeps on telling me like just do it, just keep on doing it, just actually put your effort into it and do it.
The thing, the fucked up part. I think if you actually put your effort into it, I think it would be overkill.
Okay, what do you mean?
Because,
Explain that.
I mean, I mentioned it earlier. Everything just like when it comes to tequila, it just comes so naturally for you.
Okay.
So, and not to say that you don't put effort into like knowing the brands, knowing what goes into making the tequilas and shit like that. But and you've heard me tell you like push it, go for it, shit like that. I'm one of those people. Um, but I think if you did, for me, like we said earlier, you got to find what you got to pinpoint exactly what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And the moment you find that, I feel like it'll be just like easy coasting.
Yeah, hopefully.
No, honestly, I have the utmost, most faith in you because I think stuff. I'm not like because we both work at the same job. That job's not for you. I could easily say that job's not for you.
Yeah.
Easily, 100%, that job's not for you. But if you were to go into marketing, sales, or whatever the fuck it is, into the broad market of tequila, which obviously isn't well known, well, you're not gonna really find somebody who represents the broad market because it doesn't seem to exist. But if you can
See,
create
and
that,
that's the problem.
but the thing is, if you can create that, I think you will have the utmost success. But I think the issue is you believing it,
I see that.
and taking the leap is scary. But if it wasn't scary, it wouldn't be worth it.
Definitely, definitely. That's one big thing that I've come to an understanding that it's like you don't grow until you're uncomfortable. Um, and that's actually biblical. Like you're never gonna learn until you're uncomfortable. It's not until you put like your your faith in something else that you actually give up your right of like what you're doing and the control. We're control freaks by nature.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody is. But when you take that away and you actually go into like something else, like believe in something else, that's when growth actually happens. And honestly, that's I do see myself as being in that situation right
Mm-hmm.
now. And I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where it goes.
Where did you say this was from?
That is from 1123 Chava Cascawin.
I love
That is
Cascawin too.
Cascawin.
I love Cascawin too, and the fact that you let me buy a bottle off of you from Cascawin is fucking great. But I do not like that. That is a close for last between that and this.
I at the moment I tried it again, like right now, I knew you were gonna go there. Um, it's it has it's the same profile. It has the punch, but then it tames too much. Like this has the punch, but it has um that aftermath, that kind of like that muerto vibe to it, which is the only way I can really explain this. Like it has the muerto vibe at the end that you're getting that all that extra stuff. Um,
I will say
and
this is kind of unfair because we went through 4. So I will have to try this alone before I make a full
it's
decision.
not gonna change. I know it's not.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to make this a habit. I made it a habit with the first time I did with somebody. This is something that I did not provide. This is something Elias provided. He's just been raving about this brand. And I've been wanting to try this brand. I
Yeah.
did get to try a barrel pick,
Yes, that was
which
their
is
second barrel pick.
fantastic.
Yeah.
But this is the still strength. Obviously, everything here is still strength. But the fact that you provided this bottle allows you to provide the question. So I know I'm putting you on a bit
Okay.
of a hot
No,
seat here.
I get it.
But if there's anything that you've ever wanted to ask me or know, there's no boundaries, whatever, feel free to ask it now.
Oh man. I'll give myself a long pour, giving myself some more time to think about it.
And by the way, this is Atanasio High
Yeah.
Proof.
So let me talk about it a little bit. So
Okay.
this is the Atanasio Origen. This is the 54 proof. So this has, at the time I bought it,
108 proof.
54. Yeah, okay, yeah, ABV, but whatever it is, 108. But when I bought this, it was not released in the States yet. I don't know. I know they came out with something similar like this in the States. Um, but the main reason why I bought this bottle was after meeting Renee, after meeting his staff and his team and everything, and going through that whole experience with him and getting to know him. It was, I don't know, there was something special about this bottle. It represented a lot of what he is about. And then I even got a sign, and I specifically got a sign. It says Renee, blah blah, and it says con huevos, which means with balls. And it was a running joke that we had there. Um, he was talking about how if he has a very, I'll say it in Spanish and I'll repeat it. It said he said he has a lot that this product has a lot of potential, but it has low funding, but it has a lot of balls. And that perfectly represented this bottle because that 108 proof is just I call it the sweat and tear of Renee. Like this is his sweat coming out, putting it in his bottle. And it's just one of my, I kind of stuck with the line when he brought this out of a high proofs and still strengths. And yeah, this is, if you guys get a chance to try it, it's very special juice that I cherish from my time being at Ignacio. Renee, thank you
This
for
smells
sharing this with
fantastic.
me. I haven't had it in a while, so
This
I'm kind
smells
of like,
this smells fucking fantastic.
yeah,
And you know me, I've been wanting to
yeah,
buy this bottle for a fucking long time.
yeah. Like I
And,
said, I don't know if it's out yet. I don't know
no,
if
no,
it's
no,
out.
no, no. Remember, I sent this to you.
You send it to me, yeah, but
Yes.
those are 42, 44 proof, I think.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the difference.
Okay.
That's the thing.
So
There was original one that came out. I think it was 42 proof. And
100,
then
104. Oh,
yeah,
wait. 84 proof.
84 proof. And then there was another one that came out that was like 50 something that came out. And I
Oh,
don't know.
shit.
I don't know if this is out yet. I don't know
This is
I
very
don't
plain.
know. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna
Okay.
commit some blasphemy here. Okay, this is number one.
Okay.
I'm torn between these two.
Okay. I see that.
This is very clean. This is very flavorful. This is very punch you in the mouth from the get go.
Mm-hmm.
This is honestly equal flip or flop, depending on the day that I want
Okay.
something. These are, and I hate doing ties. These are very two tie for second, depending on the mood that I want.
Okay.
It's gonna be very hard to fucking beat this.
Yeah, that's.
When it comes to still strengths,
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to still strengths and still strengths only, this is going to be very hard to beat. Obviously, we're not talking anejos, reposados, stuff like this. When it comes to still strength blancos, this is going to be very fucking hard to beat. Favorite extra anejo, obviously the Cascoin extra anejo, which I
Okay.
bought off you recently. But what do you want to ask me? This is what the real question
Okay.
is.
So the question will be, I see you taking leaps in the industry. You did a 25-day drink thing for Christmas,
Yes.
which was commitment. That was commitment,
Oh
especially the
yes.
fact that you fucking finished the drink. You made it, finished it, all within whatever time the video was,
Mm-hmm.
all that. And then, we've talked, you've taking leaps and like starting, this series of having conversations and getting to know people.
Yeah.
Um, Not necessarily what's your end game, but what do you want to achieve, or what are you trying to achieve by doing something like this?
So I know everybody's gonna say money. That's the fucking easy answer.
Yeah.
But for me personally, and this is to get a little bit personal, but it's for me to get myself out there. And when I say out there, it's not to reach a certain audience. It's not to reach, this or that. Um, but surprisingly, considering how I am, considering how a lot of people know who I am, who know me in person, um, I'm very shelled as a
Okay.
person. I don't let a lot of people know who I am. There's a big, solid brick wall. Um, for me, my end game is just to let myself go. Let everybody get to know me. You know, um, whether it's being my goofy self in fucking videos on Instagram, TikTok, or Red Note, whatever the new shit is. Um, it's just to finally let everybody know who me is.
Okay.
And I think that's very, very, very important for me. Um, because I spent my whole life shelling myself. And when I say my whole life, I literally mean from elementary school to now shelling myself. The only person who truly knows who I am is my wife,
Yeah.
which, as it should be,
Yeah.
you know, and, you've gotten glimpses of it. Other people have gotten glimpses of it that I feel like are friends. And I don't throw that word around a lot. I say the word friend maybe once every few years. Um, but for me, it's just my end game is to let everybody know who the real Levon Lopez is.
Okay.
Whether that comes with money or not, I don't care. I honestly, I really don't care because you know what?
Yeah.
I have a steady job and it supports what I do, and and it supports my family, and that's all that matters. But if I can let people see me and finally see me, that would be one of the greatest things I've ever done. Because I've spent so many years in darkness and hatred and whatever, and I know that's not me.
Yeah.
I'm
And it's not healthy.
No, it's not. And I'm like one of the goofiest motherfuckers you could ever meet. I have a reference for everything. My wife told me. And it's funny because she sounded like my brother. She's like, fuck, you really have a reference for everything. It's whether it's a video or a song or something, or if I'm fucking dancing, she's like, you fucking have a reference for everything. And if I could finally show that side to everybody, which is something that I've been afraid to do, then I feel like I've completed everything.
It's a good answer.
You know,
All right, I'm gonna fuck this up. So I'm gonna agree with you. They're tied.
you don't know, so you're not agreeing with me.
No, so
These two are tied.
oh shit.
This is easily number one for me.
Oh damn. No. So okay, so this is my one. These are my ones.
Okay.
Okay. This the only one I went back for a second pour.
So shouldn't that be number one?
No.
Oh,
I'm going
no.
here. Okay. And then going here and here. Like
Really?
Legato's good. It has a great story. It has everything. Great people behind it. Great owner. Everything. It's everything's good about it.
Oh.
But to me, these two are kind of the same. And honestly, fuck it. I'll go like this.
The moment you said these two are kind of the same, I knew you were gonna make a crazy switch.
This would be my lineup right here. These are my ones.
Interchangeable.
Okay, they're very like kind of like you said, like this is more of a winter vibe. This is more of a summer vibe in a sense.
For you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like exactly that way. This is my everyday drinker. I really enjoy this. I don't know what it is, whether it's knowing the process, this and that relationship I have with
You can't let that influence you.
No, but see, it doesn't influence me in the taste, but it does influence me in like the character and what they're trying to put. Like,
but we're talking taste alone. Taste alone.
But taste alone still it outpowers this because you said this has pretty similar to that.
Okay.
You know, and then this is it's great, but it's
you're breaking a lot of hearts here.
I could care less. Yeah. You know, I only have one heart to take care of, and it's my wife's, and that's it. And it's just
no, hey, hold up. It's three.
My kids. I got my kids.
3.
Yeah.
Yes.
Got my kids. But it's just like at the end of the day, if I'm gonna purchase something, this will be the order, in a sense.
Okay.
And yeah, kind of like to close it out, like this is these right here are like I hate putting them like side by side, but I'm trying to make it for the camera angle. But I'm gonna move it this way, like that. There's no disrespect.
It's all good because you realize if you do it this way, they're gonna take that one this first.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's why I moved it halfway through the video. Like, no, it's that's honestly, this is the way. Like, you place them, and that's the way I would place them.
Well, regardless, at the end of the day, I appreciate you coming on here.
Of course.
I appreciate you offering your home for this. And, thank you again for you. Thank you again if you're listening, watching, whatever you're doing. That is going to be the end of this episode. I shall catch you in the next one. Peace.
Let's get one great last pop.
I hate you.
Let's pop it.
I hate you.